Good evening. Good evening, kings and queens of the land. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, the royals. Good evening to the Sahel, to the liberated states in Africa, the only three states which are liberated in Africa, Mali, led by President Assimi Goita, and Niger, led by President eh, Tian, Abdurrahman Tian, and then Burkina Faso led by President Ibrahim Traore. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening to KZN. Good evening to KZN. Liberated by the MK party, which is led by President Zuma, partially liberated because of the conspiracy that the white parties have committed against the MK party in the leadership of KwaZulu Natal, refusing the MK party to lead the KZN. Uh, that's why I say partially liberated KZ, South Africa, partially liberated KZN. Good evening, good evening. The lions of the Sahel states have decided to take it by the guns. Sometimes I think, you know, Robert Sobukwe was a bit naive, and sometimes I think uh, characters like Mahatma Gandhi uh, were only intended to tame the African warrior spirit. Mahatma Gandhi or the indigenous warrior spirit. Yeah? Sometimes I feel like figures like Mahatma Gandhi, the character of Mahatma Gandhi, which gave prominent to non-violence, were meant to tame the indigenous warrior spirit which were existing at that time. Robert Sobukwe I think, intelligent as he was, I think he was naive to think because Robert Sobukwe thought, for instance, during the when the white people decided to kill a lot of people in Sharpeville in 1961, his strategy was the black men will go to the prisons and they are going to occupy the prisons. The prisons are going to be full of black people, and there will be no men to go and work for the white people in their industries. And then the white government is going to um, start listening to their demand, and there it will be this. That was just a start of series of protests that he was planning. Robert Sobukwe at that time was planning um, to have. Robert Sobukwe, the argument that I want to put, that I think Robert Sobukwe was intelligent as he was and powerful as he was against the apartheid government, was naive because he thought the white government at that time, his strategy was non-violence. He wanted to give non-violence a chance, and he decided to ask for black people to go and present themselves to the police stations and says we don't have IDs in the 20, on the 21 of March is the start of the date in which Robert Sobukwe mandated black people to do so, and they did so in their highest numbers because people were at that time were hungry for freedom. And Robert Sobukwe was a very powerful man in mobilizing others, in mobilizing people. So he thought if he mobilizes people to go to prison, then the apartheid government is going to to collapse because they won't have the labor to do their work. So they will have to sit down and talk to black people about the issue of the land. That's how we thought. What they did to Robert Sobukwe, they imprisoned him for uh, 3 years. They found him guilty of inciting violence and they sentenced him for 3 years of hard labor. After 3 years of hard labor, they introduced the so-called the Sobukwe laws, where they went to parliament to approve that Sobukwe could be kept in prison without him doing any crime or without, even though he's completed his sentence. Sobukwe could be kept in prison by the apartheid government. They kept him for 6 more years in Robben Island, ended up poisoning him. At the end of the day, the tragic end of Robert Sobukwe, we all know about what happened to Robert Sobukwe at the end of the day. Why do I talk about Robert Sobukwe when I want to talk about the story about Malema and the Democratic Alliance? Robert Sobukwe did not understand that white people are strongly benefiting living the life that they are living and getting protection. Because actually, in actual fact, I would say Robert Sobukwe did not understand the reason why white people decided to do apartheid or segregation, to segregate themselves. The genetic nature of the black person is that it is recalling. If the black man and the white man are equal economically, then the white man or the black man will start marrying the white women, and the black man, the black woman will start marrying the white man. The result is the white man will no longer exist in the planet. In order to protect the white man from extinction, they came up with the strategy of apartheid, so that the white man is always have an economic advantage over the black man. So this will help him to preserve his species, preserve his own species, to exist even in the future. That is the struggle. The struggle of the white man is for their existence. That is the fundamental issue. That is the war. That's the why racism. That's why the whole war. That's what the whole war is about. It's about self-preservation of the white man. So he came up with different strategies to preserve himself when he's facing extinction. Robert Sobukwe did not understand this. He thought the white people are viewing black people um, and in the same light as black people are viewing themselves. Because black people view themselves as human beings, white people do not necessarily view black people as human beings. White people says uh, the evolution has concluded while the evolution of the black man has not been concluded. God has left the black man in a shameful and barbaric state for the white man to exploit the situation. They say, like, God left, they say, like, God left the buffaloes for the lions to eat. He left the black man for the white man to use. That's their pattern of thinking. Thank you very much, King Richard Mie from Pumalanga. Thank you very much for joining. Saying there, I'm glad to be with the royal family again after so long. Good evening to all kings and queens and to Umfogam Kondo. Thank you very much, Richard Mie, for joining there from Mpumalanga. This is the Royal Opinion. My name is Mngoni Mkonto. This is the channel where we give better analysis than those of the propagandists, which are the SABC and the your e-news channel, your mainstream media, which is used by the enemy of black people to program black people and to mislead them and not to understand the issues as the issues are. Uh, whatever, whatever they, whatever is the truth, they brand it as the propaganda. Whatever is the propaganda, they brand it as the truth. That's what they do. The journalists are actually mouthpiece journalists, earpiece journalists. Those are, I call them earpiece journalists. I mean, the ones in the SABC and the E News channel. Those are earpiece journalists. They listen to the earpiece and they say whatever is in the earpiece. They can't really ask questions and they can't really be creative because they have to push the propaganda. The Royal Opinion is the channel which provide raw, deep analysis of deeper societal issues and remain accessible. The English that we use here is accessible to everybody. The voice is slower enough for everybody to capture what we're trying to say. So the Royal Opinion is the way to go. Click the like button and subscribe if you are coming here for the first time. We're talking about the reason why it matter, the support that Julius Malema has given to Kohler. The support matters. I want to talk about the reason why it matters, why the support that Julius Malema has given to Kohler matters. So white people have dominated us, have dominated black people in our economy, in our politics, in our religion, in our culture. They've dominated black people in all aspects of life. They've captured and defeated um, our kings. Our knowledge system has been destroyed by these vultures that we're talking about. Because these people have got a lot to lose. They've got a lot to lose. Can we remain naive like Robert Sobukwe was during the time he was arrested in the 1960s? Can we still afford to remain naive? Can we still allow the system to go on as it is? Let me share the video of Julius Malema actually supporting, or let me just give a background of what is happening. Uh, a view was raised that in the committee which is investigating the Mkwanazi allegations, there is a woman called Kolabana who is from the Democratic Alliance. There's an MP or a member of parliament who raised an issue that because Kolabana has been implicated by Mkwanazi on the commission, then Kolabana should recuse himself from the committee of parliament which is investigating the issues that has to do with Mkwanazi, because obviously Kolabana will not be partial. She's not going to be neutral. Mkwanazi has already accused her of wrongdoing. So obviously, Barnett will not be happy about Mkwanazi accusing her of wrongdoing. So she can't sit and judge issues that comes from Mkwanazi. The ANC have agreed and they said, yes, Kola Barnett should exclude herself. The Democratic Alliance also agreed partially, and they said they agree that she should exclude herself when Kwanazi is testifying, but come back to the committee again after when Kwanazi has finished testifying, which means they actually acknowledge that it's going to be biased if they if she continues to sit in the committee. The Democratic Alliance accept that it's going to be biased if she continues to sit in the committee. But when it comes to Malema, he had this to say before I actually give my comment. Let me share his comment.
That's number one. Number two, I don't even know why this matter agree that the honorable member, Paula Bernard, must withdraw herself on the basis of being mentioned without any evidence being laid. That's number one. Number two, I don't even know why this matter finds itself on our table now. Because it can be that because our member was mentioned in the commission, he must recuse herself. And then when they come to our committee, our member doesn't get mentioned. And they even say perhaps on a hindsight we realize it was not necessary to mention him in a manner or her in a manner we did. There is no.
Shockingly, Malema says he does not agree that she should recuse herself. Shockingly, Malema says he does not agree that she should recuse herself. The Democratic Alliance, whom Kolabana is from, they agree that she should be recused because she can't be fair or rational. But the EFF says no. Actually, she should not do that. She should not recuse herself. She he even calls her their member. He says our member, like a sense of like belonging. He belongs to them. The EFF slogan for 2024 was defend, rebuild, and advance. Defend, rebuild, and advance the economic struggle. Today we hear Julius Malema defending the colonial project, even more than the Democratic Alliance, who are the custodians of colonialism in South Africa. Neo-colonialism only means the new way of colonizing. So Malema is defending white people. He could have just kept quiet. He could have said the EFF does not have any comment. But no, he wants to defend the white person who was implicated when Mkwanazi is giving evidence at the commission. Mkwanazi, on basis that he says there's no evidence, but Mkwanazi was called to the commission to give evidence, and that's what he was doing at the commission. And in him giving evidence to the commission, he implicated through his evidence Kohler of wrongdoing. Having implicated Kohler of wrongdoing, how can Kohler be rational against the same person who is just implicated you on the other side? Shockingly, the EFF goes to the extreme to defend the Democratic Alliance. The Democratic Alliance itself did not defend itself that much. The EFF, Julius Malema, went to the extreme because the ANC says they should, the MK said he should be excluded. The ANC, the Democratic Alliance said she should be partially excluded. And Julius Malema says she should not be excluded at all. And of which I thought that was going to be the stance of the Democratic Alliance, not the EFF. Defend, rebuild, and advance. Queen Precious says defend, rebuild, and advance the struggle for economic freedom. All for the whites. The defending which is happening is defending white people. The rebuilding which they are doing is the rebuilding of their colonial project, which its time has expired. So they want to rebuild it back to life into neo-colonialism. The advancing that they want to do, they want to put this form of apartheid in the artificial intelligence. They're creating the artificial intelligence to advance this form of apartheid. King Victor Shongwe is just, thank you very much for joining King Victor Shongwe. The EFF is trying to seek favor from all possible sides for future power. That's what King Shongwe says there. The EFF has sold out. Malema is one confused politician. No, I don't think Malema is confused. I think Malema is one dangerous politician. He's a sell-out politician. He's a very dangerous politician for our current moment. When the colonialist or colonialism left, or when they implemented the colonial administration, what they implemented first was politics. Politics is part of the system, is part of their colonial administration. So the characters that are politicians or the characters that are built into those systems, into those politics, They are clearly aware of what they are trying to advance. The economic struggle, which is advancing Malema, it's his own personal economic struggle. And he's managed to pull himself out of poverty through using the slave trade method, going around gathering black people and going and selling them out in the table of the white man, using black people to bargain for a place in the table with white people, pretending like they want to liberate black people. The one who is confused, I think, who said Malema was confused? I was actually answering, yes. Malema is one confused politicians. That was Sobalai. Sobalai. I think the people who are confused are those who are following Julius. Malema himself is not confused. He knows exactly what he's doing. Uh, he's a project for the white system. Politics are part of what they implemented when they implemented the colonial uh, administration. They implemented politics. They implemented the church. They implemented the news for propaganda, the church for taming the population, and for the for what they call convention. They wanted to convert black people from their religion to become Christians by force, not because their belief is the culture of the one who wins the war, who wins the war, should be the culture of the one who was defeated. If you have your own culture, they believe your culture should be struggling. Your culture should be struggling. You are the one confused. You don't know what you are doing in your crumbling, falling, so called dreads. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Mzugisi? In my what? Crumbling, falling, so called dreads. It's not so called dreads. These are, if you're talking about my head, these are free-form dreadlocks. They form themselves into this shape as you see them. And leave them intentional to show that a black man existed in the 20th century who looked natural, who was not afraid to keep his hair, and who was not part of the job system, which requires you to cut your hair so that your boss says you are clean. Gitama told you way back in 2015 that the EFF is pro DA. A lot of people did not believe. I actually did not believe. it was difficult to believe because Malema is it's a super actor. He's an actor. That guy, is a super actor. Nobody would have believed Mkitaba in those years because Malema was still starting in his acting journey. Um, but Malema is a very dangerous politician. He's well aware of what he's doing. He's selling out black people for power or for money. He's selling out. He's clearly he doesn't care. First, President Zuma proposed that black people be united in South Africa in order to defeat white people to take back the land. Malema refused for no particular reason. Even now, he still refused. The reason why he's refusing is not known. He has never told anybody anything that could be really valid and be understood by those who can think, or even those who don't think. Oh, yeah, maybe he provided an explanation for those who don't think, but he couldn't provide any explanation to those who can think. Julius Malema says this woman should not be expelled from the commission, defending whiteness in its core. Modern whiteness is defending itself. Secondly, defending corruption because uh, what Mukwana has revealed in the commission is corruption, deep corruption that goes deep into the state. That's what he's defending. There's quite a lot of people acting journey. Yes, I followed him throughout his acting journey. Julius, I thought, was really a genuine man, but only to realize that he was actually a character created by white people to create an illusion to black youth that there's somebody who is going to represent you. You should not be angry against white people. You should relax because there's somebody on a higher level who is busy with your issues while he's actually busy with his own issues and his family issues with white people. He's got farms, he's got estates. That's what they say. He says so because he knows he's next to leave the committee. He may be, I suspect that one of the reasons he says so is because he may be defending himself, not necessarily Kola Barnard, because it does not make sense for him to defend Barnard that much. It might be that he's actually defending himself in this case. Is trying to avoid, because tomorrow Kumalo will be giving evidence. As Kumalo will be giving evidence tomorrow, who knows whose name is going to come up tomorrow? Because Kumalo is the one who is investigating all these issues, who has been investigating all these top issues. The one who is implicating all of this, the one whom Kwanaze has sent to go and unleash all the issues, find out all the information, find out the truth about all what is happening. It might be Queen Precious, it might be true that Julius Malema may be the next person to be mentioned in the commission or the EFF, because Mkwanaze said they are parliamentarians. There's judiciary. There's prosecution. They mention a whole lot of people who are involved in this scheme. So the names are going to start to come up. The names are going to start to come. President Zuma is calling for black people to unite, to liberate themselves. This is what is never going to happen. There won't be any person who will fall from heaven. Somebody like people who are waiting for rapture. I heard that people who are waiting for rapture here in South Africa. There won't be any person who will come from heaven and fall into South Africa to liberate black people in South Africa. Black people in South Africa will have to liberate themselves. We may find support among sympathizers, but the struggle does not belong to outsiders. It belongs to South Africans. Black people will not be able to liberate themselves without fighting. This land was taken through wars. Without fighting, black people will not be able to liberate themselves from, they will not be able to take the land. They will not be able to liberate themselves from the shackles of white people. The population of black people will continue to dwindle in South Africa and also in the continent as a whole, due to control that are going to be put in place. The Agenda 21, which they are implementing irrespective of what is happening. They continue to implement Agenda 21 as it is. In the next 200 years, black people will continue to be slaves. Black children are going to be slaves. We can't wait for Jesus to come save us. What if he comes after 100 years? For how many more years are we going to suffer? Or it's over or never. It's now or never. How many more years are we going to allow ourselves to suffer? Whosoever raises his hand, we say is not good enough, but we don't show anybody who is good enough. Those who are stuck in intellectual debate, like the middle class, they would say President Zuma is not the right person. to lead black people into liberation, but they will not show the right person who is going to lead black people into liberation. Many of them are stuck into intellectual debates instead of practical solutions. President Zuma is providing at least a practical solution for black people. The reason I understand his approach, even though I don't think noble as it is, President Zuma's approach is very noble. Noble as it is, I don't think it's going to, white people are going to allow it to win. Black people will have to fight for their land. The reason I understand why President Zuma does not want black people to go to war for the land with white people, he does not want to see guns and he does not want to see wars. It's because they understand the attitude of white people. The attitude of white people, they don't view black people as human beings. Whenever you are striking, they view it as a game. They come and just play, shooting at you, running around. You run around, and at the end of the day, they say, so number of black people have been eliminated, and then that's it. They play those games. They are just playing those games. And then you will form a commission, and the commission will investigate, and nothing will happen at the end of the day, and life will continue. Those who have ordered you to be killed will continue to rule over you. That is the strategy that white people are using. They don't care about lives. So if you go all out and go onto the streets, you must be prepared. You must have the knowledge that the system is cruel and is ready and willing. Though this is the last resort these days, they use it as the last resort because they've got biological weapons, they've got food, they've got drugs that they are using against us. Queen Precious says white people are not complete human beings. I think they don't have that devoid of souls. They don't have souls. They don't have. I mean, you go and kill the whole nation of people just to build a swimming pool for your children. Just to build a swimming pool for your children, you need to kill a whole nation of people and destroy and steal everything the other people have been owning just to go to a resort and have a good time. Just for that, then the whole people should not exist. It's being soulless. They don't have souls. Their attitude is terrible towards fellow human beings. They may say it's not all white people, but I think it's all white people. Deep inside, all of them, they love each other and hate us. It's only black people who hate each other and love them. This is what has been put into the system. So these sellout politicians are the ones like Julius Malema, the sellout politicians like Julius Malema are the ones who are too dangerous for black people. When the only solution or the only proposal or the only way out that has been proposed comes from President Zuma, the only way out that has been proposed comes from President Zuma. He says no to the only way out. President Zuma has been arrested by the white system, kidnapped to prison in 2021 when people protested against his arrest. They went and played a game that they know how to play. Take the guns, go full force. 400 people were eliminated, dead. Nobody was arrested. No, nobody is arrested even today. Life goes on. Those people are not even remembered or mentioned. We say 400 people dead. In Marikana, it's only 43 people dead. In this case, it's 400 black people dead. Malema said he couldn't comment because those are ANC issues, but claim to love black people. If 400 black people are killed by the system, black people, let's wake up and really see what is happening. There are people who are bought by the system to confuse black people and to ensure that the system of white supremacy is maintained in South Africa. There are people who are working hard to liberate black people. On the other hand, people like President Zuma are really working hard and they really mean to liberate black people. I say a lot of people who are saying President Zuma should not be the solution. They don't necessarily give a solution. If they say President Zuma is not the solution, then somehow you should provide another solution because we should not be stuck in intellectual debate. We should have practical solution. If you say President Zuma cannot be the solution, then give us the solution. Most of the time, there's no solution. They blame everybody, and we have to be stuck in this situation. But President Zuma is the only one who is giving this platform for black people to once in a lifetime platform to for black people to liberate themselves. If the MK party fails, if President Zuma fails, then black people will be in chains for the next 200 to 300 years to come. Your children are going to be in bondage for many more years to come because the system has been able to deal with revolts. They've been able to deal with potential for revolt. Um, it's very difficult these days to meet a pregnant woman. It's very difficult. You can't. They are don't. They can't find. It's very hard. You are lucky if you see somebody walking pregnant. They've changed the boys to be females. They've destroyed the life of young black South Africans, many into drugs, many into alcohol. These are consumptions, daily consumptions, sometimes, if not daily, every weekend. From Thursday, young people are starting to drink alcohol. In actual fact, if you are still young and you're not drinking, people are surprised where do you come from. Or somehow you should be drinking. He says if he gets into power, we will be speaking Swahili. What craziness is that about our own home languages? Malema suggests that Africa should use a common language, and the common language which Africa should be used is Swahili. Eh, if What is he saying about Spady? Because now ke Mopedi wa ko Polokwane, wa ko Seshego. What is he saying about these elders, about the kingdom ya ko dikgoši le dikgošigadi tsa kwa Bomoletši? What are you saying about the language? What are you saying about? Are you saying we should be recolonized by a new form of? You know, the reason they attack language is critical. Language is the one that keeps the culture. The language is the one that is the source of, you will know how to respect your adults from the language. You will know which words to use when you speak to the adults from the language. You will learn the idioms from the language. You will learn the culture from the language. If they remove the language, you will even learn the medicine to use from the language. So if they steal the language, they have destroyed you. They have taken everything about you. They have taken your culture. They have stripped you of any of your ancestral heritage, because that's what we've inherited from our ancestors, our language. Why can't we exist? Why can't everybody coexist? Big or small? Why can't everybody exist the way they want to exist, anywhere they want to exist? Why can't we allow that to happen? Thank you very much, kings and queens, for joining the live stream talking about the mafia states that were still under colonial the British colonialism and American imperialism. That's where we're still in. This is South Africa. The year is 2025. Many people say we are former British colony. I say we are current British colony. It's not former. If we don't correct that thing, young people are never gonna know the truth. They will think the British have left, while actually the British are still controlling, are still the ones who are controlling the mines, are still the ones who are controlling the oceans, are still the ones who are controlling the rivers, are still the ones who are controlling the land, and are still the ones who are the core of the economy, dominating the culture of the black man and dominating the ethics of the indigenous people. So the British colonialism and imperialism is still deep embedded with black South Africans. But the language that has been imposed on us says we are former colonies and people are falling for that. In reality, we are not former colonies, we are current colonies of Britain under the leadership of Queen Elizabeth II. I still recognized her as alive because she's ruined a lot of lives in South Africa. Robert Sobukwe has been isolated, spent 9 years of his life isolated alone. Nobody has ever apologized to his family. Nobody has ever paid reparations or anything to his family while he was fighting for black people. Steve Biko assassinated by the apartheid government only for saying black people should love themselves. White people find it uncomfortable when Steve Biko said black people should love themselves. Steve Biko never said he was anti-white people. Uh, Steve Biko has never addressed white people. He's been addressing the image of the black man and the self-image of the black man and encourage the black man to love himself. The white people killed him for encouraging black people to love themselves. The queen was cruel, and the queen remains cruel. Thank you very much. Enjoy your night. Click the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to share.